What's up, my fellow trashers? Welcome back to another episode of good content. Sorry for the late upload. I was out about having a nice swim in a local river or whatever. I don't really care. Excuse my look. I've yet to clean myself of this river water and the sand. I'm gonna keep finding sand for the next year and a half. That's the one downside. But also, I started watching Dead End, the animated series on Netflix. So far, I like it. It's good. But also, on another note, you wanna know what else is good? Thor Love and Thunder, and that is a fact. I know some of you are going to come in the comments section. I don't care if you can pause it right now, but this movie is good. So is Ragnarok. Thor Love and Thunder and Thor Ragnarok are good movies, undisputably. They have their problems. Surely, everything has their problems, but these movies are undisputably good movies. You cannot prove me wrong. You cannot prove anyone wrong about this fact. There's some certain facts in life you can't change. Change will always happen, and Thor Love and Thunder is a good movie. Bombs away on the comments. Hopefully that'll help with the traction. I didn't say that just to get hate comments, but I do genuinely believe this. Thor Love and Thunder is a good movie, and so is Ragnarok. I'm not sure if I've gotten around to seeing, reviewing Thor Ragnarok. I have seen it. I've seen it quite a few times. I love it. But we're not here for that. We're here for the movie with this guy. Yeah, I got it this time. Sadly, I did have a first take. The intro was really good. But I didn't have enough space in my phone, and I deleted a few things. So hopefully, this can last more than 10 minutes. But before that, let's actually get into the movie. Spoilers! Please, go watch this movie. It is good. No matter what anyone on the internet tells you, this is a good movie, no matter what they think. Okay? Please go watch it. I'm gonna spoil basically everything. That's how it usually goes, but especially with this movie because it has this guy. That's gore from my last video, if you haven't noticed, but whatever. So we actually, I'm going to talk about Gore's situation first because I did mention the fact that I didn't want anyone to spoil the fact that whether or not the Necro Sword is a symbiote or not. Because this is very near and dear to me, and specifically also very upset with the idea of it just being tentacles. I don't care if it's sentient or not. If it's just tentacles, not tendrils. There's a difference. Tendrils are like spiny little thingies that can morph into stuff. It doesn't have to be just, oh, it's a thingy. Tentacles are different. Tentacles are just arms that are untethered by joints, and they don't have hands or fingers, but they can still grab. So that's what a tentacle is. A tendril is different. Similar, but different. But, so yeah. That's the one thing I was upset about seeing. I don't care if the movie is good or not. I just want to make sure Gore's done justice. And don't talk about the design either. I talked about it earlier. So if you want to see my opinions on his design in the movie, go to my last video, alright? Ow, my back. It has sunburn. Let's just get into it, because I'm fine with it. I'm fine with what they did with the Necro Sword. Because in the comics, All Black, the Necro Sword is its full name. And it's the first symbiote. So, spoilers for the Venom comics. Retroactively for the Venom comics and any other material that Venom is in. Well, it's not really gonna affect whatever. It's gonna affect the way you see symbiotes. Excuse me. So in the comics, All Black is the first symbiote, and is the weapon from the god Null, who wants to kill the entire universe and everything in it, because he misses the fact that there was nothing before. Because he was born into the void that was before the universe. And so he used All Black. I haven't seen the part where he gets All Black. I know, heresy. I haven't read the comics, but I've listened to people talk about them. And imagine if I actually read them. I would be way more interested in this. I'd have a separate video talking about this. But whatever. We're here. I'll get around to reading them someday. Anyway, so All Black is the first weapon made by Null. He kills the Celestial. He reforges it, makes it into an actual weapon. And then, in order to kill everything, he makes more things like All Black. So that's where the symbiotes come from. And then the symbiotes rebel. They trap Null in them, and that's where the I just said this like a couple minutes ago. Clintar, planet Clintar. That's where it comes from. So yeah, that's basically All Black's origin in the comics. While in this one, the Necro Sword is just the Necro Sword for now. Venom is in the MCU, as in a certain movie with a web crawler. But I'm trying to be really careful with spoilers, even though we just got a couple action figures relating to spoilers recently. Go check out my Instagram. You probably still have only 12 hours to see the story I made being overly giddy about the Spider-Man action figures. Alright. But Venom is in the MCU. Some aspect of them. So there's a good chance Null could be in the MCU. We don't know yet if he's a multiversal being, or he's in every universe, like every other character, like Spider-Man, Captain America, or close to every universe. So far, we only know he's in 616, not in the MCU. Again, I've also ranted about the fact that the MCU and 616 comics universe are not the same. The MCU is an adaptation, but also a separate universe. Please get that right. So we don't know that yet, but there's a good chance, because it's a hive mind, that Null can go into the 616 universe. But we don't know that yet. But so right now, the Necro Sword is its own separate thing that's been around for basically the entire MCU. The entire MCU. So it's just shadows. I'm fine with that. That was like my main thing that I was gonna be. If it wasn't just... Okay, so it's like living liquid, shadows, a cool sort of wavy sword. That's it. That's the three ones. And so I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it just being shadows that can manifest into liquidy, tendrily monsters. I'm fine with that as well. They can have tentacles. The monsters can have tentacles, but I just didn't want it to be all tentacles. You feel me? Hopefully not. I don't want any tentacles near me. So I'm fine with that. The Necro Sword being shadows. Also, it's from the shadow dimension. They also introduced that, which is also like a part of the main universe. It's just it's a shadow in the universe. It like takes out the color from you, and you're just like monochromatic. That's what the Shadow Realm is. It's a shadowy. Maybe it's like an extension of it. Maybe that's it. I don't know. I don't know how it works. We only got like 15, 20 minutes of him, let alone see him actually in the Shadow Realm. But whatever. We got enough of him. I love him. Everyone loves him. We understand that. No matter your feelings on the good movie, Thor Love and Thunder, everyone loves him. Everyone loves him. Not him. That's another day. That's another day. So, yeah. I'm fine with gore. But speaking of gore and actually getting into the movie opens up with him. And, you know, apparently, he's not the same color. He's not the same color the entire movie. That's him after he gets the Necro Sword. So, first off, let's get to that. So it starts off with him in the desert with his daughter. They are both close to death, and he's holding her. They stop at some rocks, and she likes to draw. That's a characteristic of her. She doodles their god. Gore prays for water, food, something. But it's too late. Gore's daughter dies. It's sad. It really is. I kind of got choked up a bit. Like, I was so excited in the theater. Like, yeah, Gore. Oh, Gore. It's kind of funny saying that with this sad imagery in my head. But whatever. So he buries her, and he sits there to die. But he gets whispers, and he goes off towards the whispers, and eventually he comes across an oasis filled with water and food. It's too perfect. That's because his god is there. Yeah, his god exists, and he was living on planet in an oasis. Gore was this close to saving his daughter. So, of course, when Gore meets his god, he's a bit peeved. He's like, "How dare you? How dare you? We were so close. We were so close." It's something along those lines. I can't remember exactly. I just know wonderful performance. And the god is like, "It sucks to be you. I don't care. You can die and I'll still live. I'll live forever. I just gotta get new patronage, you know? They'll set me up for life." And, of course, right next to Gore is where the whispers were coming from. The Necro Sword. Which was being held by a godlike being or a god. I think they say it's a god in the movie. I can't remember, but it's a godlike being because of the Necro Sword. And so, Gore is like, "Okay, I hate you. Goodbye." He takes off his pendant that he prayed to. And the god's like, "Uh-oh, that's the one decision you shouldn't have made." Grabs him by the neck and is like, up. He's like, "Now, you're going to die in my honor. How's that sound?" And Gore stabs him in the neck with the Necro Sword. And that's like the one visual thing I love about the Necro Sword. It literally comes out of the shadows, raising up. Like, it really is alive. Gore grabs it. It also can change sizes as well. That's awesome. I love that. And Gore takes the Necro Sword and kills his god. Of course, that's because the Necro Sword in the comics was made to kill God and godlike beings. That is also true for here, because the Necro Sword is a weapon that was I'm not sure if it was made to kill gods, but it was forged and is able to kill gods and godlike beings. And so, the Necro Sword is like, "Use me and we will kill all gods. Go to eternity." And Gore's like, "All gods will die." And that's where we're kicking off. That's where the movie begins. Amazing. Honestly, if we could get like a short film showing I don't even care if it's like an hour long or like 30 minutes. I just want to see what Gore is doing throughout the movie besides the main cast. I want to see his journey. I want to see his pain and suffering through his face as he kills God after God after God after God after God. I want to see it. I know Taika Waititi has said on Twitter that, "Oh, I hate director's cuts. You're not going to see Gore kill these two popular characters that everyone likes. Well, kind of likes. One of them, but the other one is definitely a bit of a cult favorite among his characters he's made. But whatever. Taika Waititi, I know you love your crazy little ideas, and I know you can do emotional directing well. And if you're watching this, because you were once also a small-time creator, and if you're watching this, do this for the gore fans. Alright? Look at me. I'm an edgy piece of shit. I want to see this son of a bitch suffer. I want to see him suffer. I want to see his face as he kills gods, all because his daughter died and his god didn't save her. Which, yeah, I would do the same if my daughter was killed because of a god wouldn't listen to me. Like, your whole thing is that you do miracles. I need a miracle now. Like, if you're a god and you want, like, people to have free will, at least give them miracles. That's the one thing we associate with you. Even though technically sometimes it might not be you, that's the one thing we associate with you being, that's your divine intervention. That's what you should be doing. That's the one thing we ask from you is a miracle. It can't be like for everything, you can't classify everything as a miracle, but some things need to be fixed because they are important. Whatever. We're not here for the ethicals of being a god. No human should be God. So yeah. Anyway, so that's where we start off, and that's where I start getting a bit more picky little ditty with the details, because we're already 16 minutes in, and I've barely talked about the actual story. So yeah, we just open on Korg telling these people on this planet, which also might be like the guy with the mohawk. That might be his people. Kraglin? No. Whatever. So yeah, Gore. I mean, I want to talk about Gore. He's so cool. I'll probably start making TikToks about him on my personal, whatever. I'll start making TikToks maybe or separate videos, whatever. So yeah, basically, Korg, the character that Taika Waititi plays, he tells everyone that Thor is amazing, powerful god, but he's depressed now because he doesn't know where he is or who he is. And that's his character arc. He tries to find out why he's so lonely and where his place in the world is. But he's still Thor at the end of the day. So after saving this race of people from these owl guys who took their ritual religious site, Thor accidentally and also willingly, ignorantly destroyed their religious site, and so they're not the happiest about it, but at least they're alive. Anyway, gods don't answer to them, so whatever. Besides Thor, because he's the good one, right? Honestly, no, that's not what this scene is showing. Every god without love in their heart is not a good one. I think that's what most religions say. So, after that, Thor, I can't stop talking about, I can't stop wanting to talk about him. Also, the names are similar, or in a similar, that's similar connotation. So Thor gets goats, But we also find out Jane Foster's back from Thor: The Dark World. Also, I'm never watching Thor: The Dark World. I know it's awful and nothing about it will made me change. Oh, the Dark Elves are in it. I don't care. They're like, no, they were from before the universe existed and wants to destroy it. I don't care. That's where Jane gets cancer. I don't care. Whatever. Anyway, so yeah. Jane has cancer, and she's trying to figure out a way to heal herself faster or better because she has stage 4, and it doesn't seem like chemo's work. Again, not the most extreme form of treatment. I should know. A family member of mine has had cancer. I've said this before. So this movie is a bit personal to me in that aspect as well, besides that guy. So yeah. So Jane, being the sick scientist she is, tries to find a way to do it, but she suddenly gets whispering too. But from Mjolnir, it's broken shards. It's just being on the podium. Also, during the scene, there's supposed to be more to it, but in order to hide the reveal, they just didn't put in, which sucks because I used the promo, the set on-set images from that scene to be like, are they gonna do the cancer thing? Or are they just gonna leave it out and say Jane's magical? No, they went through with it, and I respect Taika Waititi and the crew members for that. But I don't respect their treatment of the VFX department. I think we all agree VFX people should be paid more and given more time. No more annual Marvel movies, I think. Unless they can like work up to having, have had actually the time and then releasing, whatever. It's whatever. It's like TV shows. So yeah, Jane now has Mjolnir, and she is Lady Thor. I also like the detail. Not many people, I don't think many people point out, but in the comics, her eyes are completely black. But in this movie, they're not completely black, but their pupils are enlarged and they are really dark. So you may see some white in her eye, but it's mostly darkness in there, which is, I think, is like a cool adaptation. Sure, you may want to see things when you're throwing a broken hammer around, but still, close enough. Like this guy. I did that naturally. I can't believe I pointed to him. Anyway, so Thor finds out that Gore is running around, and in order to emphasize the fact he's lonely, he's like, I cannot be with you, Peter Quill. Also, Chris Pratt is in this, and if you're still butthurt about, being lied to about the fact that he was outright an awful person, he still could be. That's why I'm still on the fence, but if you're still a little upset, he's not in this movie that long. Still watch it, please. So, Thor goes away with Taika Waititi and his 2 goats, and they go off to New Asgard, which is now a tourist attraction. That's where Jane Foster got Mjolnir, or at least his broken shards. And later that night, Gore attacks and steals all the kids for a future trap. So now that everyone's come together and we've blah 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 blah, you're my ex. Now we have unresolved feelings and other things like that. They go off on their adventure. Okay, they go off to the place where all the gods are, the god palace with Zeus, and in order to try and take down Gore easier, they try and get Zeus's lightning bolt. But along the way, they figure out the gods aren't good people. Matter of fact, they're not good. They're not people at all, so they're just bad. The gods are bad. So in that aspect, Gore is kind of right. But then again, the gods are needed to keep aspects of the universe in place to make sure everything's stable, like the Infinity Stones, which are destroyed in this universe. I guess the gods are the only thing keeping in place, along with the extra dimensional beings. So Thor kills Zeus. Valkyrie takes it. Taika Waititi supposedly dies, but with his species, if you don't destroy the face, they're fine and they can grow back their body. Also, during that scene, we see a lot of gods, and it's like some really cool Easter eggs if you know your mythology like I do. Let's see how long I have on this. Okay, I got some time. I don't care if it's a longer video. I don't care if it's 30 minutes. I gotta tell a story. Don't worry, we're almost done. So they go over to the Shadow Realm, or whatever that place is. But they get tricked and they get disoriented and scared. And they figure out that Stormbreaker is the actual key to go to eternity. You know, that like the living embodiment of the eternal universe. Which, by the way, the universe isn't actually infinite. It may be infinite in the long run, but it's just a continuous trail of explosions. Fun fact, that's what the universe is. It's just a bunch of explosions. It's not just big ones. It's not just one big one. It's like that. There's videos on it in the comments. But if that's pseudoscience, tell me, and my dreams will be shattered. Anyway, so I thought I was losing my balance there. It's dust. There's dust in here. So yeah, they find out Stormbreaker is the key to go to see Eternity and all the other gods, because there's this big room that whatever. Go see the movie. Anyway, so they fight Gore. He almost kills Valkyrie, and we find and they have to go back, and we find out that Jane is actually dying faster because Mjolnir is taking her strength, or what's left of it. So Thor is like, I have to go alone. The people I love are dying around me. Okay, I forgot that Korg was staying on Earth or whatever. So Thor goes off with the lightning, because that's the only weapon he has left, and he goes to the room with all the extra dimensional beings like Eternity, Infinity, the Watcher, Death, Lady Death. By the way, they canonized Lady Death in the MCU. That's awesome. I love that. So that means Deadpool is actually gonna have a love interest. I can't wait for Deadpool 3. I can't wait. So yeah, Thor saves the kids. They were just about to be crushed by the statues or whatever. He saves them. He empowers them with his lightning and gives them temporary god abilities, even though they're technically also god offspring. Whatever. We're almost done. So Thor fights Gore. Lady Thor, Jane Foster, comes in. She saves the day. She destroys the All Black with Mjolnir. But that also, like, damages Mjolnir even more, kinda. So she's out for the count. And Gore succeeds. He opens the portal to Eternity, and Thor, and Jane are transferred into Eternity's room. A vast ocean of water. And when I saw this, I knew people were going to compare this to the scene of Thanos getting one, I think it's the Soul Infinity Stone. I was like, people are going to theorize that they're similar and they're the same place. And the Soul Stone is actually Eternity's soul, and that's why Eternity is stuck there in a Zen pose. No! Things can look similar. That's why you overthinkers think too much. Things can be similar, and things can change for no reason. Alright? They have similar motifs in design. Does not mean they're exactly the same thing. Alright? Hopefully I didn't break the audio with that clap. I have noticeably loud claps because I am very strong. I'm very strong. That's how I think I sound. Anyway, so yeah, they're there, but Jane dies. I was kind of surprised, and I feel like the MCU. Oh, 30 minutes, my God. So yeah, I do think the MCU has a tendency to kill off people too soon. Like it seems like they didn't want to kill off Loki for good, and that's why they made a backdoor with the younger one that didn't go through the character development and didn't die because of Thanos. But I do think that's an overall problem with the MCU, because in the comics, I know, but I do hate that the comics are like, oh, we have to bring everything back to zero. No, that's not what I mean. Not everyone has to die immediately. They can die in a later series, maybe like one TV show or like one movie or like two movies or like another, whatever. They don't have to die immediately. They can have like a couple, like two more stories, alright? You can push it with 3, but besides that, we don't need that much. But I do think the MCU has a reliance on killing their villains and killing characters that could use more character development. But whatever. The directors can do whatever they want. So, whatever they want. So they're there. Jane dies. Well, at this point, she's not dead. And Gore's like, I have to kill every god. And Thor's like, stop! I may be a god, but I am no god like them. No god is a god without love. And it looks like you need love. You miss your daughter. You can ask for her back. But, so he turns around and is like, Gore's like, don't turn around from me. And he's like, I choose love rather than staying with you. And he goes to Jane in her final moments. And Gore is like, my daughter. I miss my daughter. And eternity becomes love. Get it? That's what the title's all about. Because when I first saw the title, I was like, what's the title mean? I get Ragnarok and the Dark World and Thor 1, but Love and Thunder, it feels like kind of corny. No, it makes sense, because we have love now. Because in the comics, there's eternity, the personification of the eternal universe, and then you have a lower deity, love. So eternity turns into love rather than being separate beings. And sorry, that music sounded really familiar. Oh my god, this video is gonna be so long. Sorry for this slow snore fest. I'm trying to get through this. It's been a long day. Anyway, so Love's back, but Gore has been through a lot. The Necro Sword has been killing him. That was the one thing it specified from the very beginning. The Necro Sword will kill him. I mean, that and the battle injuries. But yeah, Gore dies. I mean, there's a decent span of time of a couple of days where we didn't see him. So there could be some more aspects to him we haven't seen yet and we can flesh out more. Because that's the one thing the MCU hasn't had yet. An actual villain-led series. A movie, a TV show, whatever. We haven't had a villain-led... Oh, don't bring it up that... But Infinity War is Thanos is... I don't care, it's not. It may want to flesh out Thanos. And that's like the main drive, but it's not. It's an Avengers movie. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. It's not his movie. It's not Thanos won Infinity War. It's Avengers. Alright? If we can have Joker, we can have Gore. You feeling me? Disney, if you want. I have some pretty... I think I'm pretty good when it comes to directing. I may have not proved it yet, but Give me a chance, and I'll make one of the best series for gore. Alright? I'm an up-and-coming talent. You can trust me. Alright. So yeah. Gore dies, and all that's left is Thor and love. And now, Thor has found love through Jane, and that love persists in the form of love. Kind of corny, but hey, that's what it is. So yeah, basically besides Jane and Gore, nobody really dies this one. Well, officially. So yeah, that's it. The movie ends with Thor adopting love and living on as protectors of the universe. So that's where the name Love and Thunder comes from. And that's actually about it. Yeah, I love it. Tonal issues, yeah. Some sloppy writing here or there. Whatever. I love it. I'm definitely getting the Blu-ray, and I'm only watching it for gore. I like gore a bit too much. I honestly kind of like this one better than the other one. Even though I like the actual symbiote suit more. I've heard this one before. I've heard this song before, but yeah, that's about it. So yeah. Next Friday, I'm going to be reviewing Lightyear. I have some action figures over there, but I'm actually reviewing the actual movie itself. And then next Friday, I'm actually going to stick to this plan for once. So yeah. And my ear's itchy. So yeah, that's it. Like, comment, subscribe. Don't tell me to do anything. You're not my boss, technically. So yeah, that's about it. I have nothing else to say. Let's end this quickly, and it's 37 minutes long. Whatever. Goodbye!